Our planet is facing this massive challenge. How do we protect life in a world that's changing faster than ever? We draw these lines on maps, we make these promises to protect nature. But are we even using the right tools to keep those promises? Let's dig into that.
And the stakes? They really couldn't be higher. The research we're looking at today suggests that up to half, that's 50%, of all species on Earth are at risk of extinction right now. It's a number so big, it's honestly hard to wrap your head around. So, what have we been doing about this? Well, for decades, our main strategy has been creating protected areas. You know them, national parks, nature reserves. Think of them like a global network of natural fortresses, designed to be safe havens for life. It's really the cornerstone of everything we do in conservation. But here's the million-dollar question, isn't it? As the climate shifts and changes the rules, can a static boundary, just a simple line drawn on a map, really protect a species when its home is literally moving out from under it? And that leads us to this kind of strange paradox in conservation. We're actually creating more protected areas than ever before. We have these huge goals, like protecting 30% of the planet by 2030. But what if we're missing a really basic flaw in how we even measure if any of this is working? To figure all this out, scientists use a tool called gap analysis. It's pretty straightforward, really. It's just a way of looking at a map of where species live and a map of our protected areas and seeing where they overlap, or more importantly, where they don't. That's how we find the gaps we need to fill. Okay, and this is where we hit a snag. For years, the way we've done this has been stuck in what this research paper calls the binary trap. It's a way of thinking that just takes this incredibly complex, vibrant world and squishes it into a simple black and white picture. Now, I love the way this slide explains it. The old method is like a light switch. It's either on or off. A species is either in a protected area or it's out. A habitat is either suitable or unsuitable. But the new approach these researchers are proposing, it's like a dimmer switch. It doesn't just see on and off. It sees all the shades in between. It shows you the quality of a habitat from 0% all the way to 100. So let's really dig into this light switch problem. How exactly does it lead us down the wrong path? Where does all that important information just disappear? Okay, here's how the old way works. First, scientists use some pretty cool computer models to guess where a species could probably live. But then, and this is the part that causes all the trouble, they just draw a hard line. Anything above that line gets called presence, and anything below is absence. It's a simple yes or no box, and in that one move, all the nuance, all the detail just vanishes. And the authors of this paper, they put it perfectly. They say this conversion to yes or no leads to, and I'm quoting here, significant information loss. We're totally ignoring all those gradients, all those shades of gray. It's like saying a 5-star hotel and a cardboard box are the same, just because they're both technically shelter. It means we're basically flying blind. So, to get out of this trap, the researchers came up with a new way of doing things. They call it a fuzzy approach, which sounds kind of funny, but it's all about embracing that complexity to give us a much, much clearer picture. So instead of throwing information away, this fuzzy method keeps the whole spectrum. It gives you this continuous score so you can see not just if a habitat is suitable, but how suitable it is. And once you have that, oh man, suddenly you can compare the needs of totally different species. You can see if a habitat is actually getting better or worse over time. You can juggle the needs of an entire ecosystem and the needs of the most threatened species within it. It's a huge step up. All right, so theory is one thing, but how does this new tool actually hold up in the real world? Well, the researchers put it to the test on one of the most vulnerable groups of animals out there, amphibians in Southwest Asia. Okay, take a look at this map with me. This is the before picture, right? The situation right now for 45 different kinds of amphibians. You see those deep green areas, especially there in Turkey and Iran? That's the prime real estate. Those are the biodiversity hotspots as they exist today. This is our baseline. And now, boom, this is the future. Climate change just completely redraws the map. The areas in yellow and red, that's where their homes are predicted to get worse or just disappear altogether. But look closely. You can see new pockets of green showing up further north. Those are potential new safe havens. It's crystal clear. These animals are going to be on the move. Now, this is where it gets really, really interesting. If you were using that old binary light switch method, you'd actually get some pretty good news. It would tell you that about 60% of the amphibians inside protected areas today will still be inside protected areas in the future. I mean, on the surface, that sounds pretty decent, right? But, and this is a huge but, here's the catch, that the new dimmer switch approach reveals. Yeah, the amphibians might still be inside the park boundaries, but the quality of their home is set to totally plummet. Look at this chart. That line shows the average habitat suitability score, and it's just dropping steadily, decade after decade. Their address hasn't changed, but the house is basically falling apart around them. So obviously, planning for the future is messy. There's always going to be uncertainty. But here's the really cool part. This more nuanced approach actually helps us get a handle on it. See, when you're trying to predict the future, you're always dealing with two big what-ifs. On the left, you've got different climate scenarios, like will the future be just kind of warm, or will it be really warm? And then on the right, you've got uncertainty from the scientific models themselves. Different models can give you different answers, even with the same starting info. So the question is, which of those what-ifs is the bigger problem? So which one matters more? Well, the study's analysis found something that is frankly stunning. A whopping 85% of the uncertainty doesn't come from not knowing what the climate will do. It comes from which scientific model you happen to choose. So what's the fix? Well, you don't put all your eggs in one basket. The answer is what's called an ensemble forecast. It means you run dozens of different models and you combine all their results. It helps smooth out the weird quirks of any single model and gives you one much stronger, much more competent prediction to work with. Okay, so let's tie this all together. Why does any of this matter? Well, this new way of thinking is a total game changer. It helps planners find the spots that have the best chance of staying high-quality homes for the long haul. It gives us a real science-backed plan for meeting those huge global goals like 30 by 30. And maybe most important of all, it shifts our focus from just the quantity of land we protect to the quality of that protection. And what that all means is that we have to totally redefine what we mean by protected. It's not some static label you can just slap on a map and then walk away. Real protection is dynamic. It's a measure of a habitat's quality and its ability to keep supporting life, not just today, but for all the decades to come. And that leaves us with one last big question to think about. If a protected forest is no longer a good home for the very species it was created to save, is it truly protected at all?